Hello all. After watching Extraction 2 on Netflix this morning, I was looking for something else to watch and noticed Damsel had been released, so I decided to give it a look. For those who don't know, the basic story is a princess, played by Millie Bobby Brown, believes she's entering into an arranged marriage, only to find she's actually the sacrifice to the Dragon of the Mountain. And this time the prince won't be coming to save her. Obviously, in current day, this has red flags all over it, which you wouldn't have ascribed 10 or so years ago. But it doesn't really fall into that boss woman camp. In truth, it's a shame it's been made now, as I'm sure many will automatically assume it will be Mary Sue City and give it a swerve. A modicum of that creeps in at the end, though at least that feels earned. Mainly, it's simply the story of a young woman in extreme circumstances trying to survive in a twist of a traditional story. She's not a Mary Sue or the bestest ever. She's smart and resourceful, sure, but mainly survives through her own resilience, determination, or basic dumb luck. It has all the tropes and contrivances you'd expect from a fantasy film, but they're not what drives it. The effects are great, and puts the MCU's hundreds of millions of dollars offerings to shame. The locations are stunning, there are some beautiful vistas and imaginative imagery, and the dragon design is cool when we finally see it in its full glory, though it does lose some of its menace when brought into the light. Millie Bobby Brown is great in the action scenes, and she communicates the distress that she's in really well. But unfortunately, every time she speaks in her wonky affectation of a British accent, her acting suffers. It feels like she's concentrating on that accent rather than emoting, and that impacts on the overall heart of the film. There's also something early on that feels like foreshadowing, but never really comes into play, which I found odd. It was fun enough, but a pretty cookie-cutter action film. Beyond the initial premise and effects, there's nothing overly remarkable about it. It was enjoyable enough, but mainly washed over me and was inoffensive, to the extent that I wasn't sure what I could say about it. I'm also a little puzzled quite who it's aimed at. It's a fantasy with elements of action and horror, knights, dragons, and gruesome deaths. Broadly speaking, the kind of thing male viewers gravitate towards. But all the female characters are by far the most prominent. Certainly the males take a back seat for the most part, though it's not overly egregious. But the king barely speaks, which was very noticeable and weird. Until that was, I remembered the evil queen trope in fairy tales, and it kind of made sense. Now obviously there are plenty of women who enjoy this sort of thing, and people like me who watch anything that piques their interest, so I'm sure it'll find an audience. It is worth a look if you're stuck for something to watch. It's entertaining enough despite slightly drifting off in the last quarter. It's what I refer to as a Saturday morning film. Switch your brain off and just let it roll over you. Though to be honest, I'll probably never watch it again. Have you seen it, and what did you think? Were you engaged or flicking through your phone with it on in the background? As always, if you've enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like or subscribe. Thanks for watching, and peace out.